Amy,
Yes.
see it? Did you hear that?
Uh-huh. We'll see if it continues.
Yeah, well, I'm putting up like one of those signs, like it's like when I do a podcast. One of the things I don't know if you've ever done this. Anybody out there, you ever do a podcast and you record it on Zoom initially, and then you'll send it in for editing to a podcast company. So I did this with Ryan Weeks back in the day, Phyllis Lee, and because we did the CIS controls. And we get to this end of this one. It was really awesome. Like, man, you guys just did an incredible job.
Oh no.
Didn't hit
Oh
record.
no. Oh
Didn't hit record.
no.
So from that point on, I literally on my notes hit record on I had a piece of paper. So now I have my Amy, right, piece of paper here versus my Michelle piece of paper. All right. So welcome everybody and happy Thursday right before the long holiday weekend. Let me get my PowerPoint up here and we'll get on into it. So Zoom. What am I doing wrong here? Bear with me, guys. All discombobulated. There we go. All right. I think we got it now. Okay. So Chip, I'm going to put you on the hot spot for wins of the week and see if you had any or if anybody out there wants to kick things off, but I'll let you run wins of the week for the team today. And then we'll go to, since Michelle isn't here, Amy, is there some Unify stuff that Michelle thing? Okay.
Yep, Unify and Jim wanted to start reviewing the monthly newsletter. Just a quick scroll. So I've got both of those things ready to share.
Was it a Unify webinar? Yeah, and then newsletter. Okay, great. And then we'll go, Adam's got some stuff for us on Unify. And then I've got some cool stuff on the, well, I think it's cool, on the 2024 CrowdStrike threat report. All right, so wins, who's got some? Anybody want to kick things off for us? You guys have off for the holidays. Oh, I see what you're saying there, Ben. No, all right, is anybody gonna... I have to call on people here.
Well, I'm about to achieve 100% MFA for all our users.
Nice.
So, awesome.
Enrique, you're going to be the first MSP in the world to accomplish this.
Well, I did not. Well, remember, we're small. It's just one customer. So no, I just decided to turn it on and told him it was Microsoft's problem. They're enforcing it and we couldn't do anything. We just have to start the registration process and oblige by it. And also starting to configure most of them to authenticate Windows with Entra AD. So big head start after the big hack. Also fired my first customer yesterday. So
congratulations. Tell us the story.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
Well, we're running auto elevate on our customers and they will get pissed off anytime they did something new that we didn't have a rule for it. And we detected some bad software and we let them know that it was PUAs and really they did need to be running in their environment. And they're like, well, we approve it. And I'm like, okay, well, what are your skills? I'm great you approve it commercially, like you want to use it. I go, but what are your technical skills to decide if it's a good known program or something you should try to stay away from? And she's like, well, I don't know, but we want to use it. So that's enough. And I'm like, look, guys, every time we had to auto elevate something that was outside the norm because they were installing something new, they would get pissed off. And I'm like, you know what, guys, I don't think you have the maturity in cybersecurity that you need to take this path. I go, so I think we're better off just removing our stack and we each go our own way. And they agreed. So basically just removed everything.
And Enrique, easy for hindsight for me, but when you onboard a company, do you talk to them about their policy on, how they select software, third-party risk management? In that process, like, is there a policy? What's our role? Let me share with you what we'd like our role to be and what we need it to be if we are going to manage your organization? Do those conversations happen?
We do not, because we don't have it as a procedure, but definitely going to go on our checklist. But secondly, even if we did, these type of small companies, they're a mix and match and a patch of everything all around. Different IT guys will come in and help them with something or something else. Someone controls the server. We got there and their Windows 2016 server hadn't been patched in a year and a half. And when I asked the guy that supposedly manages it, he's an external guy, he said, well, we updated it once and we couldn't print, so we decided to turn off Windows Auto Update because it was messing it up. Right, okay. Those type of actions.
Nothing like following the secure configuration guidelines, the CIS there. Awesome. All right. Well, congrats on the MFA. Who else? Anybody have some good stuff for us? Chip, what about the in the quote unquote SOC or Andy, did you have something? I see your hand.
I was just going to say Microsoft's Copilot laptop. How does that begin to change the dynamic about sensitive information on the laptop as well?
Well, which piece of it? It's gotten in 2 weeks, it's gone from, hey, we've got Copilot here to now we're snapshotting your screen every couple of seconds.
Well, that's the whole point. I just learned that that's what it does this morning. And I just went, where does that get it's stored locally, right? And it's using a small AI. And the point is that you'll be able to bring up, this brings up, if your laptop ever gets taken and you don't have the right security on it, now you've just enabled this edge device, right?
Well, first off, Amy, how fast can you throw together a poll?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how to do that. I know Michelle does it. I know that you don't do this week to week, but
I think quickly.
I'd love to. I'm fascinated to know how many of the 45 people on this call actually believe it when Microsoft says that all those snapshots are only going to be local.
Why don't you just have anyone volunteer a yes?
Yeah, anyone that truly believes that.
Chip, can we also ask if your Siri information is only local too?
I mean, I don't believe it is.
I had conversations already this week with 3 medical verticals clients of ours, and they said, "Hell to the no." We'll discuss that in 2026, maybe.
So sounds like everyone believes that Microsoft is going to start taking screenshots. I thought about pedophiles, and they'll never buy a Surface Pro again, right?
I don't know about that because I have rules at a client site created specifically for this one user who refuses to surf for porn at home. Instead, they surf for porn at the office.
And
we create a firewall.
And you know, and they know you know.
That's a lawsuit.
They know because he used to go there all the time, and then we started blocking him through the firewall. Clearly, it's a whole new rule. It's saying you're being blocked, and that's supposed to be doing whatever it is. And then he goes and he checks his iPhone and see if his iPhone can get access to the same website, and we're blocking that too. It's like every few days he's trying, like it's a spam. Like the visuals is just, but I don't understand why they haven't fired him personally.
Well, it is actually a lawsuit pending for a company. We had a customer that had that situation, and they had to they had us capture the data to prove that this was the activity happening, and then it was they terminated him because it was anyone could sue the company for their knowledge of it.
Right. And I discussed that with the client, and I said, listen, I can keep blocking all the sites I see in the logs, but at some point, like, isn't it just better to fire this person? Just, just my 2 cents.
All right.
Amy did the poll. Good job, Amy.
Good job, Amy.
And
do you guys want to see the results?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hold on, I can figure this out. Here we go.
Happy Thursday, everyone, by the way.
24 people have taken the poll. 2 believe it when Microsoft says snapshots are only going to be local. 23 do not.
Yeah.
Lots of trust in Microsoft here.
Yeah.
Well, remember, it's
I wonder
always
why.
you're responsible for your own identity.
Yeah.
My goodness. Think about, Andrew, people use their face with cameras on Windows to secure their computer. And now they're going to store this image locally. And now it's going to be available in AI, and that's never going to be susceptible for hacking. I'm just that in and of itself says, gee, that changes the paradigm, doesn't it?
Don't worry, it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you realize if you have any kind of a smartphone, Android or iOS, it doesn't matter. If you're looking at that screen, it's taking a picture of your face about every second and a half. It's nonstop.
Absolutely true.
Just that alone is creepy. Like,
just keeps clicking away.
I don't care where they store it. I don't need them taking pictures of my face every time I'm looking at my phone.
Yep.
All right. So
of course, I guess that's why I don't use Microsoft.
You think Apple's any better?
Probably
I
not,
trust
but...
Apple more so far. I gotta say, you gotta trust somebody, or else you live in a hermit in an island with no electricity, no internet, no nothing.
No apps on your phone.
No, yeah, definitely no apps. Go back to a flip phone, and even that, government can trace you that way.
June 4th, see what's happening. Tell us about this.
Oh, hold on. You want to see it? This is the newsletter. Let's switch over to marketing then? Are we good to switch over to marketing?
You are.
So this is our main newsletter. If you have not seen it, it's in your inbox. If it's not in your inbox, check your spam folder. So we have an upcoming Unify webinar. I'm going to share the link in the chat as soon as I'm done sharing, that Adam and Ben are going to be hosting to go through all of our not only the new Unify features that have come out recently and the ones that are upcoming in the next 3 to 6 weeks, and then future roadmap, but also kind of the evolution of how Unify has evolved since we launched it last year. So I'll share that registration link. Please register, should be a good one. I think we talked about this on a call a few weeks ago, but we achieved our ISO 27. How do you say ISO? Do you spell out the numbers? 27,001 certification. So very cool. Lots of work by the internal team here to get that done. Really cool blog article about BEC protection for your clients. Nice little plug about this call that you guys are on today. With a nice little quote from our new friend, Eric. I don't know, Eric, if you're on the call, but thanks for the quote.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And some recent platform enhancements, cross-manage, Unify, report, and fortify. And our partner quote of the month is from Plex Tech Solutions, and our partner of the month is Merit Solutions. So this is all in your inbox if you'd like to take a look.
Nice.
And I will share the Unify webinar link right now. I have it up on another screen here.
Amy, that is this. You're helping to transform the marketing communication at SaaS Alerts.
That's the goal.
Really well done, Amy. That's
all right.
That's really well done. Great job.
The newsletter, Michelle put all the newsletter together, so I will pass along the
yeah, it's really well
the accolades to her. Yes, yeah, she does a really good job. She does a good job with everything. Let's be honest.
That shows your leadership, to be humble and pass along where the stuff, who's doing what. So good for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Adam, are you with us?
I am. Let me start sharing my screen. There. I assume you can see me.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So in common with other times, we share with this community before we share with everybody else. So while we do have a webinar coming up June 4th at 1 p.m., which Amy just posted there, I wanted to give you guys kind of a glance at what we're doing ahead of time. So there are quite a few Unify enhancements coming along, but I wanted to show you really just 2 today to kind of whet your appetite and show you what we've got going on. So I've got 2 different views here. Right now, I'm in the what does it look like today? And so if anybody has configured Unify thus far and used it at all, I hope everybody on this call has. you'll know there's a lot of focus on this device column here. Oops. Or, you know, I can click the button and mess up my view completely, one or the other.
Adam, just
yeah.
just not going to assume, but can you give a real quick Reader's Digest of what Unify is, just in case we have
Sure.
new people on the phone,
Good
brand
point.
partners that just, wow, I never even knew Unify existed.
Yeah. So at a very high level, what Unify does is correlates the device data that's inside your RMM to the activity that's occurring in the SaaS platforms. And with a level of certainty, we are able to tell you that the activity that was performed on Microsoft, for instance, was done so on a device that is inside the RMM and mapped to a particular account or user that's performing that activity. One of the best use cases is for detecting token theft, because we can see a login happen, but we can with a pretty good certainty tell you that it didn't happen on that particular user's device. So thank you for reminding me on that, because there might be somebody here who isn't using it.
Perfect.
If you have used it though, you'll know that in here, let's just say map device. So in this particular instance, this activity is detected and it's saying, hey, I have a 50% likelihood that this device is the one that did the work. Today, when you click on this, we give you this kind of black pop-up that gives you a little information on what we're doing and how we're doing it. We also have the idea of an unknown device. So, hey, this device that we saw use this particular SaaS application, we can't find it in the RMM anywhere as far as a mapped device goes for this particular user. We also have things like incomplete device data with a little thing. So that's the way it looks today. Now, I think I have to stop sharing and resharing because I shared, maybe I did share the right one. Let's see. Oh yeah, I shared Chrome. Okay. So if you guys are right here, you'll see one. These have little pretty icons now, right? You guys can see those? Cool.
Yes.
All right. So this is in our dev platform, literally checked in today, hot off the presses. I've already found a few bugs and things, so don't judge me, bros. But in here, this is what we're doing now. So that same kind of drop down that we talked about before, for instance, here is that same mapped device. So again, we have a 50% certainty, but when I click on it now, we're getting this fly out on the right-hand side of the screen. So much like if you guys have played around on these before, we're now providing additional context with Unify. And so my goal with this update in the UI was to better answer the questions that us, the support team and myself get on what does it actually mean? You know, this black thing popped up and you gave me 100%, but like, why? So in here, I'm now showing you the data from the SaaS event and the data from the device that we detected from within the RMM, and then showing you the percentage of matching and giving you a little flag here on, you know, the operating system that we're seeing, and then the fact that this particular device is mapped to the account. And I'm trying to put good help text on literally every possible thing that you could figure out. And then for those people that just like a paragraph, we are outputting here why we did what we did, and then also the two strongest indicators of how we made this particular match. Andy, question.
Yeah, a question comes up. The SaaS alerts information is always going to be as of the minute. How old is the device information? In other words, is there a way to have us say this was last verified an hour ago, 30 minutes ago, a day ago, and to give relative value to the device match?
That is a very interesting question point. The answer is it's under 15 minutes old.
Okay. It'd be
So
great to know what that is as a way to add credence to the value of the device column.
I will take that one as an update.
Kind of
Yes.
like kind of like a timestamp, if you
Mhm.
will.
Exactly.
That, hey, device data as of X time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
like that. My only concern there, Andy, is I have the time that we got it from the RMM,
yep.
and I actually have the time that the RMM has last seen the device. My question would be, which one do you want?
The one the RMM says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. We keep that in the database already. It would not be hard
I
to
think
add.
that adds
I
value
don't
to
know
the
that it'll
match.
make it on this first kind of
Yeah.
release, but not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would add a lot of value.
Enrique,
you.
I see your hand.
So any way to be able to add in here to link the user and the device?
Oh, it's nice that you asked that. That was where I was headed next. So one of the downsides, and did you guys see this flip back to the old way?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So one of the downsides that we have with our current design, and another item that I was trying to fix, is if Anton here says has mapped to Anton's MacBook, and this happens to be Anton's desktop, then we would actually show this as an unknown device because it's not Anton's laptop or notepad or MacBook or whatever I said. The new way, and it's coming with more stuff, is we now have an unmapped status. So this is a situation where Anton used a computer, and if you look here now, the little guy is orange with a question mark, and it's telling us, hey, this is an unmapped device. We know it's in the RMM, and we're pretty certain that he's using it, but it's never been mapped before. So right from here now, we can choose to map the device. So we can take action on that. Very, very fun stuff here. Oh, I got like fireworks. So the other piece that we have that I can't demonstrate because I don't have the data in yet, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. So one of the things that I have been asked for from the very almost beginning of launching Unify is shared devices for front desk computers, manufacturing shop floors, whatever it may be, terminal servers, showing my age there with terminal server. But we will be introducing shared devices as well. So from these same items here, this is an example of an RMM shared device that is not mapped to this account. So let's say term server is mapped to 30 accounts at the organization, but now Adam has just used this. We're going to say, hey, we know this is a shared computer, but Adam actually isn't mapped to this shared computer, but he's using it. What do you want to do? And we can actually add the account to the device inline inside the analysis section as well. And then finally, we have an update, which again is not live in our dev platform yet, but an update to the account mapping screen. So let me show you this one first. So from within sorry, I'm like all over the place here. Okay, so lots of arrows and things, but from our current thing, our current UI, you have the ability to choose to map an account, whatever it is, but it's always been a single account and a single account only. So this new wizard here, when you go to edit, you're going to be able to, here's the potential accounts that we see as having been used this device in the last 30 days or so with the confidence ratings. And now you can come in, you can click, and you could say, hey, give them all to me, and it puts it over on the map side. Or you can pick only one account at a time, or you have the ability to search for an account that isn't in this list and map it manually if you just happen to know that that person is going to use it. So, Andy, another question.
Oh, I've got 4, so I'll try to go quickly.
Well,
One.
you might have to show up to the webinar because this is supposed to be a tease.
All right. So for those
One.
customers that use Azure Cloud with Azure Virtual Desktop, they're going to be moving from one host to another potentially as they're spun up and spun down. Is there a way to attribute a grouping of IPs so that we would know that they are defined across this grouping?
So I had this pitched to me yesterday, which was actually have the ability to add Entra groups
Yes.
to the mapped accounts rather than a single mapped account. Really cool idea, but that requires a lot of work on the core of our product that I don't know will make it in anytime soon.
I just want you to think that there's going to be a group of users and a group of devices, and they're going to overlap with Azure Virtual Desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think definitely on the radar.
Great.
I think I need to see the data in our database in a production way as we start to roll out shared devices to get a true understanding of how that looks and how that works and how we would implement
We
it.
volunteer to help that way.
I
Second,
will reach out to you, Andy.
a
I got your cell
workflow
phone
for
number.
unmapped devices or unknown devices, i.e., someone adds a new phone or someone adds a new workstation to say, hey, look, this is now a ticket that could come back into, let's say, an Autotask or a PSA. This needs to be dealt with right away. And this would be an easy thing then to work through. Third, around phones, can we look at integration into an MDM that would allow us to do the same validation at the phone level or the mobile device level that you're doing with an RMM?
You should come to the webinar, Andy.
All right.
No, it is definitely on the roadmap to start doing this for mobile devices. Shared devices was the big one. Now that that's done, mobile is going to be one of my personal focuses. Enrique.
Every time Andy talks, I have to talk. I have nothing to say.
It's like a
No,
fight.
so one of the things on Azure Virtual Desktop that maybe the Entra security group ID might be more complicated. I don't know if the host pool, what Andy was explaining, that belongs to a host pool. So you have 5 hosts inside the host pool. I don't know if the host pool is part of the information you get. That might be simpler because it's on a device side and not on a user side.
We're both Nerdio users now. See, Enrique, I can tell by the posters you have on your wall.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know that I can reach out to you guys when I start to kind of look down that direction.
And by the way, this is evolving rapidly. You know, being able to bring all this information together in SaaS alerts makes SaaS alerts so much more valuable.
It's almost like we named the unit, the module appropriately, huh?
Yes.
All right, that's all I've got, Andrew.
Great job, Adam. Really great. It's I've said this before, but you guys are to me kind of spearheading in essence a zero trust or kind of a ZTNA in a SaaS environment. Heading that direction with all the data sets that you guys have. Do you know what I don't know your thoughts on that, Adam.
Yeah, no, I keep looking at this as being like the true zero trust, kind of world. And I've got some things that I'm brewing in the background. I just don't know how to connect the dots just yet that I think is gonna blow the doors off from not needing RMMs.
Well, I was going to just say, think about how Respond could drive so much of this automation throughout. It'd just be amazing.
It already is, Andy. We have a lot of partners who, and they're mostly partners that are on the larger size of the spectrum, admittedly, that, they require everyone to use Entra ID, or they have all of their end user devices. Well, at least laptops and desktops, not yet iPads and iPhones and stuff, but they have all the main user compute devices connected through the RMM, and they obsessively use inside of Respond Unify attributes to identify or de-identify specific devices. That's
I
thousands of instances of that already in the platform.
As part of this release, I've been having to figure out how to migrate the existing Respond rules into the new world order of understanding the shared devices and things. So I'm literally looking through hundreds of Respond rules related to Unify. There is some really clever stuff out there that I had not even thought of. So I'm excited to give these more features out that I'm looking to see what's going to happen and Respond next. But it is really cool.
Yeah,
Adam and team, congratulations, because I think this is really a game changer within the SaaS alerts platform, both in quality of life and both in functionality. Today, we use Respond, we use Unify. We have an issue with a lot of those unknown devices just for the simple reasons you showed right now. And on Tuesday's call, we were talking about it, but now the accuracy is going to go up. Being able to add this into, we have a user traveling to Europe, but he's on his device, and it's going to be accurate. I think these are definitely some very, very, very big changes. I dare to say one of the biggest changes that'll affect us positively within the SaaS alerts world. So congratulations.
Think
Chip,
about
did you
this,
hear
Chip.
that?
With the phone taking pictures every minute, you could tell when a phone is stolen and have it automatically respond because you have those images going, right?
Yeah,
And
if only we
access
had
to
access to that data, Andy. Although I'm not sure I would want access to pictures taken every couple of seconds from people's phones.
No.
It'll be enough to have all the Intune data flowing in here, and we're already hard at work with the Intune integrations for this. You know, again, this is a small group. You know, you guys represent at this point a tiny fraction of our partners, and we are so grateful that you guys are consistently here. So first ask I have, Enrique, this has been out for over a year, Unify as a product, and not enough people are using it. This is a big change that Adam has engineered in. But spread the word, help us spread the word, because surprisingly to me, this is our least adopted module. And I'll tell you the reason why it's surprising is because the number one complaint we have, particularly from new customers, is that SaaS alerts is too noisy. Because like any, you know, SIM source solution, it does require tuning to get it to behave the way you want. And Unify is one of the best tools that you can possibly use to cut down your noise. I mean, using Unify and Respond together, you can get SaaS alerts to a place where, you know, you're only ever hearing of things that are absolute emergencies and have already been remediated or need you to approve their remediation. And that's the goal, right? Like, we understand that the ideal here is to have 99.59s noise and, you know, 1,000% of actual signal that's meaningful. That's the goal. And we're trying to build the tools to help everyone get there. So, you know, for everyone on the call, please, you know, when you talk to folks in your peer groups, you know, let them know if they're SaaS alerts users and they're not yet using Unify. It's the way to get to the holy grail of, you know, kind of the perfect, you know, source solution that's doing orchestration, constant monitoring, and automated response. It just gets you there.
Well,
Chip,
if you're
man.
trying to get to zero trust, you need accurate data.
Yep.
And one of the, I mean, unless you're using all Intune, but in our world where we use an RMM and we're using SaaS alerts and 365, there's nothing that's going to give us more accurate data than Unify. Now with these improvements, right now I have a lot of inaccurate data because I have a lot of the unknowns and a lot of the different things that Adam was showing. But that's why I say this is a game changer, because now it'll give us a higher accuracy rate, which we can trust more into locking down the environments.
Yep.
And Chip, I just want to make one more suggestion, and this applies to Adam and the team, and that is, why don't you create some video that we could take to our groups, our peer groups, because I know that there are some big ones out there that would truly benefit from this, and that would also enable greater sales through the peer groups for SaaS alerts, because there
Yeah.
would be pod members that aren't aware, and just talking about Unify and Respond in conjunction with that would be transformative for any MSPs.
Yeah, I bet in the library of Ben Jones, who has completely taken over the SaaS alerts YouTube channel with his own content, that there's probably already, you know, a combination Unify Respond video. Certainly the webinar next week will be recorded. So that will help a lot. But, you know, look, our thesis remains that for 365, MSPs or 365 is their main product. Intune is going to become the dominant force in device management, almost to the point of replacing RMMs, because its functional capabilities are there now. And you guys, I don't know how many people think about the economics of this. You're paying for RMMs. You move all your customers to business premium, which is where Intune is now. It's way down there. It used to be up in the E3 land. Intune and, you know, and Defender Suite are now business premium tools, and your customer is paying for their own management product. And, you know, you don't have any licensing to pass through. Like, it's just straight out of them. There's no more traditional RMM cost. It just let that sink in terms of the impact on the business model.
And what competition could do if a big company like Microsoft decided to enter this space.
Well, they're in the space.
Yes. No, I'm talking about from a managed managed customer perspective.
Yeah. I mean, look, the only thing that Intune doesn't have, as we've talked about before, is remote connection capability, screen sharing, or remote login, either one. But how much effort does it take for Microsoft to build that into Intune as well?
Well, they do. You just have to pay extra.
Right. You used to have to pay a lot extra for Intune as a, as a much higher level package in 365.
So, Adam, just real quick before I transition to the CrowdStrike data, I just want to share my screen. Well, I'll share my desktop, but do you want an intro? I think a good intro for you and Chip would be to Jason Garbus. He's actually not. You're up in Northeast, right, Adam?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we could do a Zoom. Jason's a really good guy. He wrote literally the book on Zero Trust. He's also an IANS faculty member, but then on the he heads up the Cloud Security Alliance's Zero Trust committee. So the guy, he was the head of product for AppGate. So, in terms of knowing Zero Trust products before he left, he's no longer at AppGate. But I think he'd be like, if we kind of help, as you kind of think out, like how can we correlate all this and literally take the platform to a whole nother level? Like he literally is responsible for building AppGate from their product perspective, and happy to make the intro. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to chat with them about kind of the roadmap and how we're headed, and seeing, if we are definitely skating towards the puck, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay, I'll set it up. Okay. All right. So I just has anybody, Amy, maybe you can be my eyes here. Anybody seen this year's, it just came out recently, the 2024 CrowdStrike threat report? Verizon, and I don't know if any of you saw Phil Langlois, the principal author of Verizon, on the cyber call this Monday. If you haven't, I can put the URL in chat as well, so you guys can see the recording. But he was fantastic. Anyway, I thought I wanted to share what was really relevant to us, as always. And starting things off in the report, really near and dear to our hearts is where threat actors are attacking by industry. And lo and behold, not a surprise that we as in technology lead the way. I don't think that's a surprise to you, is it, Chip? That supply chain is, by the way, supply chain in and of itself as an area of study for Verizon was added this year because it increased so much year over year. And that was based on MoveIt and C3X and other supply chain type attacks, Okta, LastPass. We could go on and on and on, but this is certainly seemingly increasing year over year. So 60% is a fairly hefty increase in these campaigns. So any thoughts on that, Chip?
Yeah, I mean, not surprising. I don't recall, these same numbers from last year, but I wonder what the increase in education and healthcare in particular has been. My instinct is I've read a lot about that over the course of 2023 and even in so far this year, of those two sectors being targeted more. I'm surprised government's only 9%. I find that my bet is there's a lot of underreporting there.
It literally took the words out of my mouth, Chip. I think they can't report really what is going on there, because again, this is only based on what can be reported.
Right. So the stuff that won't be reported from the federal government, and then there's how many thousands of SLED institutions around the country that are not gonna report. They're just gonna put their head in the sand and hope they can not get called out on it.
Right. Absolutely. absolutely.
Where do you think Microsoft fits on this intrusion industry? Are they
In the
technology,
technology?
communication, financial? Are they
No, they fit in technology, Andy, and
think so?
they're 21.7% of that
The
23.
whole point I was trying to communicate, because they're the domino that falls, right? Everyone goes from there.
Well, and then what's interesting again, and this kind of, in essence, supporting Adam's thesis and the good work he's doing. They're protecting not only the ISO work you and the team are doing, Chip, but also then helping SaaSaler's partners, because not only is technology number one, but in North America is clearly number one by a long shot of where threat actors are attacking supply chain.
Is that what TA stands for? Is threat actor?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Exactly.
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, there's no and. All right.
So can I ask a question about those stats?
Yeah, of course.
So much of the stuff that I've seen, whether it's from Verizon or any other source, they're really looking at medium to enterprise. So we're talking, typically about companies that are like $500 million and up. Do you have any idea how many of those threat actor targeting stats or active intrusion stats are really accurate for the SMB market?
Actually, Verizon's is massively ubiquitous. I can't speak to CrowdStrike's, but I can speak to Verizon's. So much so, is that Jonathan asking?
Yeah, I did.
So Jonathan, so much so that if you look at the 2023 Verizon DBER, they've always separated SMB from enterprise. They've always had a component in their report, and fairly substantial. Last year, they literally collapsed the data together. And the reason they collapsed the data in 2023 and now onward is because prior to 2023, the types of attacks, the TTPs, and how threat actors attacked there was enough of a statistically significant difference between mid and enterprise to the SMB. And as of 2023 and onward now, there is no significant difference. So they've collapsed the data sets, which is pretty fascinating. And Phil Langlois literally called that out last year. It was a big piece of the announcement of 2023 DBER, but they ingest something in the neighborhood of 45,000 attacks and over 10,000 data breaches, which is definitely, they take into account SMB.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. CrowdStrike, you're probably right to call it out. CrowdStrike doesn't focus too much of their sales efforts on the SMB market. So fair comment there. Verizon isn't selling a product for their DBER report. I cut this off because after the ransomware never runs piece was all about how wonderful CrowdStrike, Chip, does their thing, and knocks everything offline, and prevents, it's the hero. More important to that, really, I just wanted to share the time in which interestingly, the part where we don't even know the threat actor exists is the longest period of time, right? Are they buying the credentials? Are they, doing things like Bo does, which is, doing some type of enumeration to Azure, like a red team or a pen tester from the cloud would do, like he does, and enumerates all the email addresses and et cetera, et cetera. So, but once they're in, man, it does not take long to move. And more than likely, this kill chain, as it were, they don't show the time, but my guess, Chip, is probably not incredibly different to start doing spear phishing and BEC type maneuvering. They're probably, you know, obviously they're hunting through and doing forwarding rules and searching invoice, you know, terms and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this certainly looks to me like, you know, you did cut it off, but this looks like a very, very specific anatomy around ransomware attacks, you know, that aimed at behind the firewall devices. I think what you see in a business email compromise or account takeover is, when possible, a longer period of living off the land, because you want to discover when you're in there, you know, who are the vendors, and who are the customers, because those are going to be the targets that you go after for financial attack. You know, pay my invoice somewhere differently, send, you know, we're going to send our money somewhere differently, confirm this. We've been through this enough that everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Those guys, you know, when they can get into an inbox and learn over a few days of observing, you know, the actual activity of that business entity that they're monitoring, they'll take their time and do it, you know, which is what makes it so unsettling. I mean, let's go all the way back to your absolute favorite from 2023, Andrew, which is the Microsoft hack. I mean, they sat in there for roughly 70 days, you know, just watching all this email traffic back and forth, picking and choosing what they were going to steal. As you said before, we probably haven't seen all the notes drop from that song just yet. So, you know, yeah, they're in there right away. You're right. They create the mailbox forwarding rules, the mailbox redirection, download a chunk of files. That probably all does happen in the first 3 to 5 minutes, really quickly. But they want to extend that mailbox takeover for as long as humanly possible.
So much so that, right, you know, the funny part is, when I say funny, air quoting, is, you know, when you don't have MFA, they enable it for you so you can't get rid of them. You know, that's been a new tactic that has been employed quite a bit.
And they also just add, if you do have MFA, they add their own device as an additional MFA factor.
Right. Exactly.
That would be a benefit to know with Unify if that shows up as you begin to look at mobile devices.
You already have it in manage and in respond.
This is
excellent.
This is, again, this comes to me, if there's one slide that talks about SaaS alerts, it's this. Look at the fact that we are moving rapidly towards threat actors going away from malware, aka ransomware. Why? Because they don't need to. It's too easy to just to take money through social engineering and all the attacks, Chip, that you and Ben and everybody have outlined repeatedly, and what your product is aimed to stop. But again, talk about skating where the puck is. There's a reason pre-texting and has included, you know, has surpassed phishing in 2023 and 2024. Threat actors don't need ransomware anymore.
Nope. It's just embarrassment. That's all they need.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric, you could fleece your client with the porn guy. If you think about it. If you were a hacker and the hackers get into that environment and they see this guy's downloading porn all the time, what does a hacker do with that? Like, hey, just want to let you know that we're going to share with every single one of your customers that this is what your employees are doing all day at work.
Right.
Or you could.
But that has that worked? I mean, that's an email that's been sent up, you know, a few years back. That was like the latest craze to get an email. Hey, I saw what you did last night. You know, pay me or else I'm going to tell everybody.
Eric, what if they say we'll sue you and it's now a sexual harassment suit in California? That becomes very expensive. That's all that becomes.
Well, I don't think a threat actor is going to sue anybody, Andy, unless
no, but they could make it aware to the other employees they could sue, and you know that there might be someone who would be interested.
Well, that's the extortion part. You're exactly. Yep. That's how it would work. Hey, we're gonna let this all out.
Has this weekly changed into Hackers Weekly, or it's a great idea.
So this shows again, also again, back to why SaaS alerts. I mean, you know, there's just dramatic amount of activity. These are access broker sales or these are advertisements by access brokers. I mean, this is insane, right? When you think about the number of attempts or if you will, the nefarious solicitation of supply chain, right? A very specific supply chain where access brokers have massive data sets and are saying, hey, you want information to attack certain organizations? We have it. And so they did want to show you, Chip, they did take it easy in December and took some time off.
Do you think there's a correlation with holidays and access
Andy,
brokers?
you just literally read my mind. I don't know if you saw me turn my. I'm trying to like look at this like a stochastic chart and
Yeah,
figure out what
I'm-
the hell's going on
I
here.
think
Why you
March
have
would
these
be
big spikes
taxes,
in
right? And then
October,
August,
November, and
yeah, August would be Labor Day, and then October, November would be the Christmas spend. This is
like
when
there's a
people,
pattern.
yeah.
Typically, when you look at the firewall levels, though, things increase around the holidays.
Yeah,
That's
well,
when
no,
people
Eric,
matter.
Eric's right. So, but if you think about it, Eric, you nailed it. In other words, think about it. Here we go with tax season, right? So these would be massive, right? We're going into the holidays. Once the holidays have hit, they're winding down. So I think you're right. These are the precursors to those events. So that's why the advertisements are so, remember, these are the advertisements, not the actual attacks.
Yeah,
Right,
this is
right,
just somebody
right.
saying, "Hey, I've got credentials to sell."
They're setting up the stage.
They're setting
Yeah.
exactly. So, hey, you've got tons of, we got the phishing kits. We got the credentials. You go on your merry way, but you're going to get it all a few months ahead of time and set up all your staging and all your infrastructure to do it.
Think about this with what you guys showed with how you can harvest these credentials so easily and take the OAuth. This could just point them to what companies to target and individuals specifically because they have these credentials and they could begin to go after the company in multiple angles.
Oh yeah,
Just-
Andy, we've been talking. This is what we've been pounding the table.
Yeah.
Andrew has come back to this multiple times, as of we, that this is an ecosystem of people that just get credentials and then sell them out. That's what they do.
What I'm alluding to is that this, for the threat actor, gives you a target that's very specific and broad, and they can broad out within that organization because they know that there's probably, if one's not sensitive to business email compromise, many others won't be because they're probably not having data security awareness training happening. Anyway, I don't mean to finish up, Andrew. I apologize.
That's okay. We just got a few minutes here. This is Phil Langlois. He's the principal author of the Verizon Data Breach Report. We had him on Monday. I'm just going to put it's 70 seconds, but in 70 seconds, Phil outlines like what I would send to every prospect if I was an MSP or every customer on, hey, if you don't have MFA today, why you need it. And if you do have MFA, why you want to consider phishing resistant MFA. Because let me show you just literally how quickly a threat actor works, what they do, how they move, and how they get your money. That's literally in 70 seconds. He literally walks you through it.
What's this YouTube? This is on yours, obviously, but I didn't catch this one.
It's I put it in chat. This is the
Perfect. Here.
This is 70 seconds of the cyber call from Monday. He's absolutely brilliant.
What's the timestamp on that, Andrew?
What do you
It's
mean?
very small on the screen. So is this whole clip just 70 seconds?
Yeah, it's about 70 seconds long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the whole, and if you guys want, again, I can put in the whole cyber call. I'll wrap it up with this right at the top of the hour. Again, this again is a SaaS alerts screenshot, if you will, or an advertisement from the CrowdStrike report, because again, identity attacks are where everything was at. I left one off, which was around Kerber roasting, but basically, if you look at, account credential, sessions, OTPs, Chip, this is again where you guys are making a huge difference. And again, this is literally what the threat actors are using. Again, it's, as Phil Langlois says every year, I wish I could tell you there was, and as MSPs often ask, like, what's new? Where are the threat actors going this year? What do I got to buy? They're not doing anything new. That's the sad part.
Nope.
They're just more creative on attacking the identity.
It's all the way back to the original use of the term hacking was guys that were hacking phone companies. Kids would plug into a phone company switch and connect to somebody on the other end. And it was all what, Andrew? Social engineering.
Yeah.
And it's still the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I know we're a minute over, Chip, but if you think about it, right, things come full circle, right? Threat actors have tried, and it's not that malware is going, ransomware is going away. It's not that DDoS attacks are going away, right? It's not that 0 days are going away. It's just that if you had to roll dice or whatever, if 70%, if 7 out of 10 attacks or 70 out of 100 attacks can be successful, which are you going to choose? Right? The easy stuff or the sophisticated stuff? The nation state actors have to do sophisticated, and even they don't have to do sophisticated stuff. Look what they did to Microsoft, right? It was a password spread. But yeah. So anyway.
Till next week.
There we have it. So yeah, till next week. Awesome. Great job, everybody. And Adam, congrats. And Amy, I went 100%.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Take care.
Have a great weekend. Great
Bye,
holiday.
everyone. Thanks, Andrew.
Likewise.
Bye, guys.